Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Spiritual Alphabet. And today's letter is J. So, what I've done this whole week is focused on joy. So, it's quite an interesting practice, and I recommend it. Basically, to go through a whole day and then a whole week noticing moments of joy. That is sort of like the first level. Just like notice what brings you joy in a given day. And then the next level is to find joy in the simple everyday moments, things that you just take for granted. Um, so, for example, uh, in the morning I feed my pets. My You can see my dog's head right here. There he is. Um, I feed my animals in the morning, and it could be seen as a chore because I'm like still waking up and a little bit groggy, and it could just be seen. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta give them water and okay. Or it's a simple everyday thing, and I consciously brought joy to that so-called chore. So, and with animals, it's not hard to bring joy, not hard to see joy, right? Like, just like looking at their movements and their face and just how they move and everything. I was like, okay, that brought me joy by putting my conscious attention to the joyful possibility of a simple everyday thing. Okay, so what might that be for you? Well, you can feel free if you want to try this exercise and comment below. Level one, what's something that brings you joy without you having to try to notice it? It just brings you joy. It could be something you eat. It could be something fun or enjoyable, easily enjoyable that you experience during the day. And then second level is something that you typically are neutral about. You just take for granted. It's just something you go through the motions. Brushing your teeth, taking a shower, doing a chore, doing something at the computer that's just kind of mindless. Whatever it is, simple everyday moment that you can then consciously find the joy in it. So uh, let's use brushing teeth as an example. So instead of just, oh, I'm just brushing my teeth or whatever, to like find the joy in the fact that maybe the toothpaste smells good, or the joy in the fact that you have teeth brush, right? Like joy is connected to multiple good virtues and good values. Joy can come from gratitude. It can come from positive surprise. It can come from playfulness. It can come from noticing details that you never noticed before. It can come from, um, you know, like it can come from the experience of just being alive and free of pain at the moment. Can be like, wow, that is joyful, right? So that's the second level of the joy practice. The first level is it's the first level isn't really something that's needed to be conscious. You just notice that some things are naturally joyful, right? Second level is bringing joy to the neutral everyday moments. And let me see if I have any other example. Yeah, okay. I have one more example, which is I've been practicing this. I walk into a room and I silently ask, the spirits of joy who are here, let's get together and amplify the joy in this room. And it could be a room just by myself. Like I entered this room, I'm by my well, except with my dog. It's easy to find joy with my dog, right? But I enter into a room, and let's say I went to the bathroom. Very very simple. I'm by myself. Entered into a room. Says spirits of joy in this room. Let's amplify it. I mean, it's so simple. I mean, what am I doing in the bathroom? Brushing my teeth, right? Like putting on my contact lens. Like nothing. But let's amplify the joy of whatever I'm going to be doing here, whatever experience is going to happen here. And it works. I mean, you could say it's a psychological trick I play with my mind. Fine. Yeah, fine, but it works. Or you could say that there is a literal metaphysical activity happening in the room, paranormal activity where there are some more joyful spirits who then help me amplify the experience of joy in that moment, in that room. But it works, and I invite you to give that a try as well. Okay, so then the third and most difficult level, right? Got three levels of joy practice. Third and most difficult level is, as you might expect, taking negative experiences and reframing them with joy. Is that possible? Of course it's possible. Anything is possible with practice and with the with belief in the possibility, and then practice. Anything is possible. So how can you reframe difficult moments to be joyful? So, for example, I'll give you one kind of simple example. It's not that difficult, but I was I was talking in a group of people. There was a group of peers, so these are not clients or students of mine, but we're kind of on a, like in that group, the status of everyone is more or less the same, right? There's no teacher student dynamic. It was just peers talking to each other. And in my introduction, I kind of said a self-deprecating joke, and there was no reaction in the room. It was just landed with a thud. Like if I looked at people's faces on Zoom, and nobody was smiling. And I thought it was kind of funny, a self-deprecating joke. Maybe someone was laughing inside. I don't know, but their faces didn't show at all. There was no chat. And of course, I felt embarrassed by it because, again, I'm in a room where everyone is at the same level, and I just deprecated myself, with a joke, and nobody reacted, and and then, as I after that experience, I finished introducing myself. I felt embarrassed, of course, but then afterwards, I'm like, oh, I'm doing joy practice here, so how can I bring joy to an embarrassing moment? And I said, well, at least I can laugh at myself and with myself. So I was silently laughing at my own joke. I'm like, well, fine. I can I can at least laugh at this joke. Can I if I find it funny, then it's funny. I don't need anybody else to find it funny. I find it funny. And the embarrassment of lowering my status because it was a self-deprecating joke. Some people may have taken it seriously, actually, right? Some people may have thought, because I said it in a deadpan way, and so people may have thought I was being serious about that. And I find, and well, I'm just actually thinking back on how can I find joy in that? Well, I can find joy in the fact that, okay, fine, they start with a lower expectation of me, and then as the group keeps going, maybe they'll see better sides of me and be pleasantly surprised by that. It's always good to start with lower expectations, right? Once you've gotten into a group, start with lower expectations so you can show your true self, and people go, wow, you're better than I thought. Man. See, there's always a way to reframe even a negative experience and bring joy. Okay, so a little bit more difficult. Let's keep going. Um, well, okay, so here's another one that I've experienced this week, which is I lead several groups of people. I lead several meetings a week. My clients, my students, my members. And this week, the attendance has been really, really low for a couple of those meetings. And I don't like it when the attendance is low. Of course, I feel like my thing, whatever I'm doing, isn't valuable to them. I feel like people don't, yeah, people don't value what I do, and so therefore it makes me question my own the value of my work, and questions my purpose, and it's just natural when people don't appreciate what you do, right? And the attendance is one of those indicators. So I'm just trying to bring joy to it. In fact, I was just thinking about that this morning. Like, how can I bring joy to when I remember that, when that comes back to my mind? Oh, low attendance. How can I bring joy to it? And so I'm like, okay, well, even if let's say only one person showed up in a group of 80 people, only one person showed up to that meeting, then I can bring joy to the fact that, ooh, I get to, or even two people, whatever, two people, three people, one person. I can bring joy to the fact that, oh, I get to connect more deeply with these one, two, or three people rather than be like, oh, how come everybody else doesn't like me, or whatever. It's like, oh, I can bring my focus and love and empathy and attention to this one person, to this. And then I thought, well, what if nobody attended? What if nobody? There's the ultimate embarrassment for a teacher, a leader, right? Nobody shows up. Wow. I was like, okay, how can I bring joy? Well, I already scheduled to be there. I carved out my calendar, of course, expecting but I scheduled to be there. So I can bring joy to the fact that, ooh, I get some extra time by myself to work on something important right now. How wonderful is that? It's, again, joy can be brought into any situation to lighten it up, to make it positive again. And of course, of course, practically speaking, I might go, well, how come people aren't attending? Let me make changes to the meeting so that people are more likely to attend. Whatever, fine. And I can bring joy to that too. I can bring joy to like curiosity. Go, okay, first, nobody showed up. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and use this time the best that I can. I get extra time for myself. But let me also bring joy to thinking about the curiosity of this. Like, let me bring joy to, what are some ideas? Let me lightheartedly brainstorm some ideas. Let me enjoy the fact that, my God, I get to do this work at all. That I get to do this work at all, and let me bring joy to that. So that's another example. A harder example even was I had an argument with my wife this week, and yeah, and usually we don't have arguments. I'm grateful, but there was an argument this time, and thankfully it wasn't a super bad argument. It was a fairly small argument. So, but it was still an argument where we both felt in a bad mood as a result. And so I'm like, silently, of course, I didn't say this out loud. How can I bring joy here when we're both now in a bad mood? And I don't think it would be appropriate to verbally make a joke or something like that. I'm not that good yet. Some people who are really pro are able to lighten up even a bad mood situation and have an argument, and that's really pro. But right now, I'm just silently trying to reframe the situation myself. So I said, huh, if I step out and look at this from a bigger picture, okay, if I step out and look at the fact that two human beings who live on this planet where the chances of human beings even being here, and if you want to say spiritually, the chances of us being incarnated into this moment at this time is so extremely rare, and we're here to learn these soul lessons, okay? I can see the humor in this situation. Like, we're just kind of bickering a little bit here and feeling bad afterwards. I can see the humor in that situation. Like, we're so fragile, and it's so easy for us to, find fault, or to be in a bad mood, even though the entire picture is so joyful, actually. So I kind of like brought that idea to mind. I'm like, okay, I can find the humor. I mean, literally, I was in that situation, being in a bad mood. I see she's in a bad mood, and I was able to like another part of myself was able to come in and see the humor, like the witness consciousness, perhaps, to see the humor in the situation. And just seeing the humor doesn't mean that suddenly now I'm like all lovey-dovey and I'm able to, but at least it started to dissolve the bad mood, and it started to like soften my face and dissolve the bad mood. And I think that made it easier to move on from the argument and to make up, right? And so, anyway, if you have any other examples you want to share below as you practice this, I would love to see it. And I'll just end the video by saying that ultimately, what brings me joy is that bigger picture. And I'm so grateful, I'm just so grateful that I have a faith in the bigger picture. And I've said on other videos on this channel what my faith is, but it's like I'm able to step back anytime I need to see that ultimately in the big picture, there's so much joy for each one of us because of our destiny, for you, for me, because of what this whole thing is actually about and where we're going. There's like, when I sit with that and when I be with that and when I truly understand that, the more I truly understand it, the more joy there is. So anyway, I'll leave it there. I hope I hope this has been enjoyable in some way, but I really look forward to seeing if you want to add any comments below about your own joy practice. And thank you for joining me for this journey. Be well. Be joyful.